Who will do the introduction?
Roy.
Roy, okay.
We are going to broadcast to public now, and I think we cannot chat at the moment.
How many participants do you have? You don't mind?
Xuan, mute Chen Bu, Xuan.
Not many, I think.
Xuan.
80.
Malaysia-China Chamber of Commerce, MCCC, was established in 1990 as a non-governmental, non-profit, multi-ethnic and independent business association. MCCC provides a dynamic platform for Malaysian and Chinese entrepreneurs to create a mutually beneficial environment for business cooperation, enhancing the national economy and boosting enterprise development.
马总总商会创会的前辈一开始就给我们这个商会很清楚的定位，它是设计马来西亚各族的商家有兴趣到中国经贸和投资的一个未来的两国的一个发展的新动力，必然是来自高科技，包括于人才的培养。
马中总商会青年团是在2003年4月份成立，并在2018年我们改名为青年企业家委员会青企会，以更贴近企业家的形象。作为青年的商业平台，青企会也通过举办各种各样的活动，让他们装备好自己，迎接更多的商机。
我觉得21世纪女企业家通过这个平台走出马来西亚，然后走入全中国。我们不只是要学习如何做一个成功的女企业家，更重要的是我们要如何成为一个更有价值的女企业家。
As a platform for connecting private enterprises and government resources, the MCCC has been maintaining close contact with the government departments of the two countries to ensure the exchange of resources and projects, domestic and foreign investment opportunities, encouraging and implementing the international expansion strategy.
马中关系源远流长，经过了45年的这个紧密合作，经贸之间的这个成长，马中的关系呢更上一层楼。我们在未来展望双边友好邦国的关系，朝向新的里程碑迈进。
As a platform for international interaction, the professional teams of the association and the 9 state administrative branches have successfully encouraged numerous numbers of Chinese investors to collaborate with local entrepreneurs over the years.
MCCC being a focused China-Malaysia trade organization, it opens up a new avenue for us to look at trading with China. China is a country that we cannot ignore. It's humongous and the trade opportunities are big.
MCCC not only enables Malaysian entrepreneurs to experience the prosperity of Malaysia-China business, but also enables the Chinese entrepreneurs to experience the diversity of Malaysian culture. This has boosted the confidence of cooperating with local businesses, therefore strengthening trade development. In order to truly understand China's economic status, MCCC led local entrepreneurs on a visit to the commercial hub in Nanjing, China, and to meet the local entrepreneurs there. MCCC started a course related to the investments in China and Malaysia, organizing the One Belt, One Road English Forum. MCCC also organized a Greater Glory 45th anniversary of Malaysia-China diplomatic relations to celebrate the close relations and the rich historical ties, to further encourage the economic development and maintain the high accelerated growth between Malaysia and China.
马中总商会自1990年成立以来，积极地发挥桥梁和纽带的作用。今天的中马关系已经进入了新的历史阶段，必将迎来更大的发展机遇和更广阔的发展空间。
The rapid growth and increase of business activities in China make it a globally coveted market. Malaysia's strength lies in its stable, growing economy and multicultural environment.
3, 2, 1. 对于马中总商会未来的发展，马中总商会一定要尽量的有个机制来够授权给我们的各个委员会、各州的驻分会，让他们有这个领域、有这个舞台去表现他们各自的才华。这一点是我们这个总商会会成功的一个要素。
Regardless of the business nature, choosing only the strongest and advanced platform is the most effective method to venture into any foreign market.
Welcome everyone to the Malaysia-China Chambers of Commerce 12th webinar series titled From Surviving to Thriving, Business After Coronavirus, Strategies to Grow. My name is Eugene Roy Joseph, and I'm honored to be the moderator for this morning session, as we have the pleasure of 4 distinguished speakers with us to share their insights, knowledge, and experience. Malaysia-China Chambers of Commerce, MCCC, is founded in 1990, is a Malaysian NGO and has 9 branches throughout Malaysia with more than 1,800 corporate members and counting. Without further ado, I will now introduce our speakers. These 4 speakers' CVs are impressive, and I hope to do justice to their introduction. I'll start off with Mr. Christopher Wong. Mr. Christopher Wong is the current CEO of Great Success Consultancy Sdn Bhd and an expert on corporate finance strategy and business transformation and consulting for more than 18 years. He and his team of experienced professionals have assisted many SME and startups in restructuring their business to attain exponential growth in Malaysia and throughout ASEAN countries. He has also a master's degree in finance and bachelor degrees in international business from Curtin University of Technology in Australia. He has also been invited to numerous talks as a speaker, in particularly by Bank of Malat, one of the largest banks with net worth of 62 billion US in Iran, as their keynote speaker to share about Sukuk bond, Islamic banking in Malaysia, and fintech in the banking industry. And in the year 2008 and 2009, Christopher Wong was also awarded the Certified Financial Planner and Certified Islamic Financial Planner from the Financial Planning Association of Malaysia and from Islamic Banking and Finance Institution, respectively. Christopher also runs a private equity company based in Labuan, dealing with fintech, aviation, property, and agricultural project. Great Success Consultancy has also been appointed by Hong Kong Trust Company Capital Management based in Hong Kong as a strategic partner to provide the risk management planning to the corporate and individual level. Welcome, Christopher Wong. Welcome. And I will go on to introduce the next speaker as well. Ms.Tan is currently the managing partner of Total International Association, founded in 2007. She has more than 30 years relevant experience in audit, financial advisory, and financial planning. She started her career with the Big Four firms in Malaysia. She's also founded the TRE Group that provides corporate advisory, accountant, secretarial, and taxation services. She has also served and advised many foreign companies. She is a member of the Malaysian Institute of Certified Public Accountant, MICPA, Malaysian Institute of Accountant, MIA, Chartered Taxation Institute of Malaysia, Financial Planning Association of Malaysia, ASEAN Federation of Accountants, members, director of Malaysian Accounting Firm Association. And she has audited many public listed companies and SME, performed due diligence on various acquisitions of companies, handling shareholders, dispute, and company valuation. She has also performed GAP analysis and advisory for pre-IPO of companies from New York Stock Exchange listing, as well as Malaysia, as well as advisory on microfinance in Cambodia and Japan. Performed internal audit on China enterprise, as well as subsidiaries of US listed company. Thank you, Pauline. I move on to our third speaker. Mr. Nazri is the founder and CEO of MyFinBM Sdn Bhd and has over 20 years experience driving strategic growth and producing quality financial solutions for government agencies, leading asset management firm, banking and finance research association, and many more. He specialized in AI and cognitive analytics, having spent more than 2 decades as the practitioner in these fields. He has provided CFO solutions to more than 800 SMEs in Malaysia through business consultants and financial coaching from developed financial institute in financing, restructuring, and business remodeling since 2016. He headed the team that analyzed more than 1,000 public listed companies in Bursa and Singapore Exchange for retail investors, business owners, and family officers, and many other notable projects under Singapore Ministry of Foreign Affairs and banks. He's also the chief economic advisor to one of Brunei key ministry, managing various facets of economic planning that includes financial sector development, policies, and financing for businesses. He's regarded one of the earlier pioneers to develop and deploy AI-based analytics in ASEAN Pacific. Nazri played a leading role in the digital transformation for the financial sector and SME development in the region. He's also the regular contributor on AI-related topics, featured in various media platforms, and spoke on the topic in various parts of Europe, ASEAN, Africa, and Middle East. Presently, he's an honorary counsel for the Republic of Cabo Verde and the Board of Governors for Republic of Polytechnic for Singapore, and advisory to his School of Informant. In 2018, Nazri was named one of the world top 500 prominent and influential personality in Islamic world and economic for AI and fintech category. Nazri was also awarded the ASEAN Pacific Top Young Business Leader Award in 2010 by the Ministry of Industrial International Trade and Industry. Welcome, Nazri. And I will finish up with the last but not least speaker, Mr. Paul Chan. He is the current president and co-founder of the Malaysian Alliance of Corporate Directors. Paul is also the senior independent non-executive director and audit committee chairman of an IT service company listed in Busan, Malaysia. He has served on numerous boards of public listed companies and NGOs in many industries. As a global international integrated reporting council of UK, as an ambassador, Paul is also an active advocate for the adaptation and practice of strategic integrated value creation in the effective utilization of multi-capital resources for sustainable growth of enterprise. He is also the chairman of the ASEAN Integrated Reporting Committee and vice president of the Federal of Public Listed Companies. He served on the executive committee of Global Network of Director Institute and has 21 leading directors institute globally with over 140,000 individual members. He is also instrumental in introducing the Certified Financial Planning Destination to Malaysia. Paul was also a co-founder of Financial Planning Association of Malaysia and served his board of governors as vice president. He was also a member of the Global Advisory Council for the ASEAN Pacific of the Financial Planning Association of the USA. Paul is also the president of the Business Transition Asian Sdn Bhd, a boutique strategic business advisory firm. He is also the co-founder of Iris Malaysia Sdn Bhd, a startup in developing AI platform for corporate and integrated reporting. Welcome all distinguished speakers, and I will pass the floor now to Christopher Wong to start the first session. Thank you.
Hello, good morning, everyone. Let me share my screens. Okay, today the topics I'm talking about digital transformation roadmap. Myself is a business consultant. I have traveled across 18 countries in the Asia. So a lot of customers ask me these questions, whether how can I digitalize my business? First thing I will ask them, right, what is your goal? Why you want to digitalize your business? So before we go into digitalize your business, I will understand what is their current business model and what are the goals that they want to achieve. Let's say, for example, I'm talking about the goal is like, for example, the lead time. How fast your products can reach to your customer hand. And what kind of profit that you're looking at after you digitalize your business. How you're going to scale up your business. What is your objective, your goal? After 5 years, after digitalize 5 years or 10 years, what is your goal? Then we assess the current state now and what is your future goal. After that, we will going to draw out the roadmap. But a lot of people thought that, all right, I have a product, I have a services, then I just go online and park all my product and services. This is called, we call digitalization business. Actually, there are so many things that we don't know at all. Actually, the foundation and the fuel to sustain your business, right? So here, we are talking about these perceptions is totally wrong, right? We need to consider total 4 elements. These 4 elements is the foundation to digitalize our business, right? What are the 4 elements that you need to consider? So total, we're talking about people, process, content, and technology. People we divided into 2 parts, which is the leader and also the customer, all right? A lot of business owners say the problem is the mindset and also their team are not ready to do it, right? So if a leader or the business owner, the mindset is not ready, no matter how, right? You will follow the same way to how they are going to expect a customer, all right? Nowadays, a lot of people, they are talking about customer-centric, means that our focus will be how to deliver more personalized and customized services to our potential customer. This we call people. Secondly, we're talking about process. Process means that after after the customer have ordered the product from you through online, all right? What is the lead time, all right, from your factory to deliver the product to the customer, to the end user, all right? How is the process? What is the lead time? And what kind of lead time that you want to reduce? Maybe reduce 20% of the time or 30% of the time. And the process, the SOP, all right, that we need to identify it, all right, before we strategize it. Then we're talking about content. What kind of marketing message that you want to deliver to your potential customer? What kind of Google keyword that you need to put into your website? What is your positioning, right? How you write your content to catch the customer, all right? So this is called content. And lastly is the technology. A lot of SMEs say that I must be present in YouTube. I must have a social presence in the Facebook. I must be using all kinds of social media tools. Actually, no, all right? Even though some of SME, they include their AI, chatbot, everything, all kind of technology they use, but we need to selective what kind of technology is suitable for you. Whether your product and services is B2B or B2C, and what kind of social media is suitable for you, and you will going to decide how much budget I will going to invest, right? So let's zoom into each of the details, right? First of all, we're talking about people, right? Nowadays, customer is the king, right? Means that we need to think about the strategy, right? To reach out your customer and provide more personalized buyer engagement. How you're going to engage with them and provide more personalized service to them, all right? As we know, all right, like for example, Grab. Today, I'm not only using a GrabPay, all right? I use a Grab. Let's say, for example, my rooftop is leaking. I go to these Grab apps. I will going to see under the GrabPay what other services they have. Okay? Recently, I see that they have a Gaodim.com. They partner with a Gaodim.com. And then from the Gaodim.com, we're going to see roof leaking, who I going to call for. Then from there, I can use my GrabPay to pay for the services. So this is called Partner Enablement Program. Means that nowadays, one platform is not enough. Usually, the platform will going to collaborate with another platform. This is called cross-functional collaborations. The final objective is they want to add value to their existing customer. Means that to provide more value so that the existing customer will tie with your platform, right? So this is called superior customer experience. So I give you one case study, Xingheng. Xingheng, all the while they are selling electrical product, but Xingheng have changed to become O2O model, right? It combine offline and online together to serve their customer better. And they develop their call center and transform their mobile sales team to become a telemarketer. What they do, Xingheng have a lot of database. All these database, what we're going to do is we will going to reuse it, reactivate it, and connect back to those existing customers by sending a birthday voucher to them. So when their birthday, they can use the voucher to spend in their shop. At the same time, Mr. Lim also invested in logistics, more than 12 million USD in the logistic delivery. The main objective, they want to cut short the delivery time. Means that today I order my goods, maybe afternoon or the day after tomorrow, I receive the goods that I want. All right. This is called customer service experience, customer experience, right? Another example that I could use is content, right? So content, basically, we are talking about whether you employ a copywriter to check through your advertisement, whether the sentence that you put into the Facebook is catchy enough, right? Then after that, we are talking about a campaign that you in your platform. So a lot of business owners, they spend quite a lot of money to design very nice and attractive website. But put your website, how beautiful your website, it doesn't matter. The most important thing is whether the keyword able to search your website. Let's say, for example, I'm selling, I want to buy a vegetables. Whether I'm going to type your company name, nobody care. What I'm going to do, I go to Google, I just search organic vegetables. Then whether your company name is listed on the top, all right? So that's why the positioning is very important. If today you are selling organic vegetables, make sure that these word organic vegetables are ranked on the top and I see your company. This is the most important thing. So that's why a lot of business owners don't understand. They just simply create one website without any Google keyword they're putting in the website. So no matter how, I also still can't find your company. So that's why we need to do a research on the keyword that you put into the website. At the same time, that we will going to provide a useful and education content in your Facebook, in your website to educate the people. The more you educate, the more value that you add to your customer. Ultimately, customer will going to introduce their customer to come into your platform, to your website, to make a purchase, right? So the process we are talking about the digital marketing. After you capture the leads from the Facebook, what are you going to do with the leads? Whether you are going to cross-sell after consumer life cycle analysis, after they bought the first product, how long they are going to buy another product from you. So basically all this, we need a very strategy planning to do that. Otherwise, you will easily lose out your customer to your competitors. Here we are talking about, we have been consult a few clients from overseas in Cambodia and Indonesia as well. So now recently we explore to another project which is in Thailand. We already pre-planned the 1 year what kind of marketing campaign that we want to do it and how we do it and how we strategize. If today I want to stick with you, I need excitement. So maybe 1 month we're going to run 2 campaigns, or quarterly we're going to run 1 campaign. Make sure your campaign never stop. So you keep your customer excitement. So your customer will stay with you, right? So after you, under this process that you already done, we need to SOP it, standardize it. So the same business model, you will going to apply in any of the country. It will be easier for you to duplicate your business model at the same time to scale up your business. Another case study I want to share with you, which is C.K. Chan, the Oxwhite founder. So imagine that you buy a clothes, which is market price around 400 ringgit. But today you just have to buy it through online, which is tailor-made only 69 ringgit, you're able to buy it. So the traditional business model for the retail to sell clothes is make then sell. However, here we sell first, we collect the money first, then we make for it. And traditionally, business model for the retailers is very standardized, all your clothes. But here we are talking about customization. And due to the traditional retail outlet, they have additional markups. So that's why the pricing is usually very high. But under this business model online, the customer straight away order from the factory is cut costs. And for the investor, they need to invest high stock and then the cash stock. But here we do not need to put up your stock. Basically, the cash is rich. And then the retention is very low, right? So basically, for those retail outlet, customers just select the clothes they want, they pay in the cashier, that's all, finish up the story. But here, if you digitalize your business, your customer, what size they are wearing, what color they prefer, everything will be stored under the database. Then once we have this database, we use the big data technology to analyze, you have a higher retention rate of your customer. Right, now we are talking about the same price, right? Other brand is around 400, but Oxwhite only sell you 69. But of course, the turnaround time, at least once you order, you take about 2 months to 3 months to deliver the things, but it will be, right? So the technology. So under the technology that we are talking about, what kind of technology that you use for your company, all right? As I mentioned just now, a lot of different entrepreneurs, they say that I want to have a social media presence. So my website, we have a blog, we have YouTube, then we have a Facebook, we have LinkedIn, all kind of social media will be appear in my platform. Sorry to say that. You just have to need to focus which platform is suitable for you. What kind of social media is suitable for you? Not say that Instagram include, then I will going to focus in Instagram mode. We need to do some analysis on your product and services that you offer. Like for example, for B2B, we prefer to go to website, all right? If your product is B2C, we prefer to use a social media platform like Facebook. So this is so-called choosing the right technology or social media platform to help you to scale up your business so that you won't waste your resources and money to bank on the platform which is not suitable for your business, right? So the last case study I would like to share with you is quantum method. Traditionally, a lot of people think that buy gold is very luxury things. But here, we are talking about a paper gold. Means that how we're going to digitalize this business through online, right? Dr. Lim is the founder of Quantum Method. So initially, he's involved in precious metal business. After that, when he traveled to Indonesia, one of the Indonesian Chinese said that during the crisis or political unstable, a lot of Indonesian Chinese, they will collect, buy gold and take the gold and out of the travel out of the country. So he has the mind that said that he think that how I'm going to involve in this business and make it everyone afford to buy gold. Just like in Asia, everyone can fly. So here we are talking about how everyone can buy gold with a minimum amount of money, right? So that's why he tried to digitalize this gold business into online. They also create apps to buy gold, right? So gold, when it comes to digitalize it, right, it can trade 24 hours and 7 days a week online, right? It's a gold saving account. And gold is no longer heavy anymore. You can do it anytime, any place, and anyone can do it, right? Using the apps, right? So here, how we are going to build up the credibility. And first thing that Dr. Lim did right is he collaborated with bank, and he collaborated with Afin Bank, Bank Muhammad, RRG Bank. All these bank help is a so-called a marketing channel to sell gold to the investor or sell gold to the consumer. And the other thing that the minimum is only 200. Means that you can 200, you're able to buy 1 gram gold, right? When the gold price appreciate, so basically you're able to sell it off. So this is the great idea that a lot of people able to do a saving via gold. And lastly, it digitalizes the gold investment. We can bring it to global, right? So this is one of the very beautiful business model, how we are going to digitalize the business. So the last one, which is now they already penetrate into, if today you have a gold account, inside you save some gold, you can use your gold account to make payment. to any of the merchant. So you can see that how powerful that online is and digitalize your business. Just now I share with you these 3 case study. They are from the age 50, 40, 40 plus, 50. So today you are 90s or 80s, born in 80s or born in 90s. Do you still have an excuse that I do not know how to digitalize my business? I don't think so. So basically, the message that I want to tell all of you is like, during this COVID-19 and pandemics, a lot of business closed down. A lot of business do not have a cash flow. So, and some of the business, they are forced to digitalize it in order to survive in next 6 months to 1 year. But I have been in this line for more than 7 years to 8 years, right? Then I also help a lot of SME to transform their business, to digitalize their business. And at the same time, I bring them to the ASEAN markets. I also help them to do a due diligence for some of the collaboration partners in ASEAN country. So frankly speaking, those people who want to change, all right, be able to help them. And some of the business owners say, now I want to digitalize my business. I can say it's too late, all right? But recently, a lot of business owners, they will try to revise their current business model, and they will try whatever way to put their product and services online. So the main objective, they want to survive. But I can urge you that there are so many things more that you need to build up your foundation solid so that your business can be sustained, even though after you digitalize your business. So nowadays, a lot of business is a lot of family business, they want to sell it off. So I came across on my hand around 5 to 6 family business, which is more than 30 over years. So then after that, they have a good track record. And during this pandemic, they want to sell it off to overseas investor. Right? I asked them why you want to sell. They said that the next generation or next of kin, they do want to take over the business. But another question that I want to ask them, basically, all these business owners, they have conducted business for more than 30 over years. They are talking about every business decision they want to make is according to the business owner, their field, predictions, right? And they do not have a substantial data to predict the future. Nowadays, we are talking about a technology era. Everything we're talking about statistics, and based on the history, based on the data that we have, we analyze it, we're able to predict future. So that's why I urge all these traditional business to digitalize their business so that the next of kin, the next generations, able to duplicate the business model because everything already SOP. And then easier for them to duplicate the business model and for them to inherit their business. So this is what I urge all the business owners. Do it now, all right? Don't wait for later. It will be too late. So my name is Christopher Woon. I'm from Great Success Consultancy, right? This is my contact number, my email address. If let's say, for example, any one of you want to have a personal consultation or you would like to explore out of Malaysia to collaborate with those ASEAN countries like Cambodia, Laos, Myanmar, Indonesia, by all can contact me. Maybe I can assist you. Thank you. I pass back to our host, Eugene.
Thank you, Chris, for sharing with us very interesting Malaysian success stories and what are the companies currently are doing. And I like what you said earlier about in the beginning of your presentation, you say that companies perhaps should be selective in their approach and also take into account budget. Okay, the participants, if all of you have any questions, do post it in our Zoom chat here. Meanwhile, Chris, I have one question for you. If, in your view, for a Malaysian company, they are beginning to think of this digitalization transformation roadmap, what do you think is the first step which is crucial to their thinking process in this journey?
Okay, the crucial thinking is basically now a lot of SME, they still say that I don't know how to do it. Actually, when the environment forces you to do it, because now the first thing is you need to rethink about your current business model, all right? What kind of product and services that you're offering? And what kind of possibility that you can go online? Okay, like for example, recently we consult one hairstylist. Now, basically, the hairstylist salon still locked down, right? But how they're going to promote this online, right? They will collect the money first. After the after the lockdown, they will give a special promotion to the existing customer. This is how they collect the money upfront. This is also a marketing strategy. While waiting lockdown period, I still can earn some business. I still can collect money upfront, right? This is what reasoning they advise to our client to do it. But hair salon, a lot of people never think out of box. Is like, I still wait after lockdown, then I able to start my business. But for those people that are using the online strategy, I can sell the package now. Maybe 12 times treatments, then I collect upfront 1,002. Then I give a discount to you. All right. Each time maybe $80, right? But most important thing is the cash flow is able to survive, right? Okay. Eugene, you mute your mic already.
Yes, thank you, Chris, for your comments. And we move on now to Ms.Tan for her to talk about financial and planning aspect of a growth strategy post-COVID-19. Over to you, Ms.Tan.
Okay, good morning all. Thank you, Roy, for the kind introduction. Let me share the screen here. Okay, as you all know, we just have this CMCO being imposed, and a lot of businesses have started to operate. And we have seen a lot of small businesses either have to close shop or they have to scale down the operations, retrench workers because simply they don't have enough business, but yet they have to pay for expenses and all that. So how would your strategy be to survive at these trying times? Like just now, my fellow panelist, Christopher, has pointed it out rightly. When you put your products or services online, people just think by just having your product online, you can just sell, but that is not true. And there are many elements inside there you need to consider. For example, having the people, strategy, the content, what technology you are using, and what are the processes involved in getting those business in. So today I'm going to talk about the challenges that go beyond the strategic planning. Why this company are unable to manage their cash flow and obtain financing and put the resources together, and also how to sustain this business. Okay, I do have struggles when I got to know about this close down and all that. And you know, we have cash flow issues and all that. But I immediately turn it out and say that, okay, what do? I will not sit and wait for things to happen. So I have planned myself to see how I collect documents from client. Even during the lockdown period, we have clients to send documents via online to us, put in a mailbox, and so that we can download the documents for processing and so on. So business is still as usual for me. So you have to think how your business is resilient to this, you see. That's why during this time, we have to do these few things. Revisit our budget. How is our cash flow? And we also need to revisit our business model. Is our business still able to run traditionally, or do we need to innovate to sustain the business? How do we communicate with our clients or customers? Where are we now? So take the opportunity during this lockdown to where your business is not full force or what, to rethink your strategy. That's what we need to do. Especially those like in the retail, or for example, those in the service line, like massage parlor and all that. You can't open up the business. What do we do next? Like just now, Christopher has mentioned hair salon. They offer packages. They collect cash upfront at so that customers can enjoy their services after lockdown at a very much discounted way. So by collecting some cash upfront, they are able to pay the rental and maybe pay part of the staff salaries, and the business can still survive moving forward, right? So what we do for our clients immediately during the lockdown, we have actually communicated with our clients. We know that they are operating in a very low margin space. Their products are available everywhere. So we immediately contact them and see how we can offer additional services to these clients, and see how they can move out of their comfort zone and rebuild the business in another way. For example, like going online. There were one client of mine selling shoes, and he's a wholesaler. So what I advise him is you have to bring your product online. Don't just sell it by face-to-face visiting your customers, and you've been dragged for payments, collection is an issue. Banks also stop giving additional facilities. How do you survive? And finally, he listened. So I would say it's a long process. We have to educate our clients in the process. How do we digitalize the business? How do we move out from Malaysia? In fact, we have a lot of good products and services in Malaysia, but sometimes we are so worked out in our own box, we have not seen the world outside. Well, in fact, we can go and sell like in other countries in Asia, like Cambodia, Indonesia, Myanmar, for example, have just opened up. You know, it's a very big market, and even Vietnam is a very big market where we can tap on. And how do we do it? We can sell online, you know, bringing the business online and offline, like what this Seng Heng group has done, which is very important. And let's come to the detail of revisiting the budget and our cash flow. So we have to do a scenario. Let's say if the lockdown continues for another few months, how would my business cash flow be affected? What are the things that I can save in order to conserve cash? Cash is king now when you do not have revenue coming in and all that. So it's important we also engage with our bankers to see how we can extend our facilities or even get additional facilities to help us cushion up our cash flow management in this sense. And we need to talk to our staff, for example, to see whether they can take some pay cut or to help out with the situation. Or in fact, we can continue paying the same, but using the existing resources that we have, but we venture into other services. Yeah. For example, one of my clients in the travel industry, what they have done is they have a fleet of vehicles that is not put to use and during this MCO. So what he has done, he has quickly turned it around and make the vehicles utilized by selling food products that he's doing online, you know, and groceries. So that actually helps to occupy the staff and retain the staff, and meanwhile he can still continue to have some cash flow in. So this is some of the strategy we need to look at when in this situation. Yeah. And also banks are not lending during this difficult time when you needed them most. So businesses can actually consider other source of funding. There are many out there. For example, you can consider cloud funding, having small investors, you know, from various places to invest in your business. And we can even approach some private funders. Well, I can take you offline on these methods if you need to, you know, because I help some of my clients in this. There's a tech media company that I help. I have actually secured about a 10 million equity funding for her to enable her to survive during this time. And how scalable your business is. You need to revisit this and see how you can reinvent or tweak your business model a bit to see how you can go through this new norm of a partial lockdown, right? So that you can survive without affecting your cash flow. You know, you can revamp your company website to be able to handle online inquiries, for example. Yeah, and you can have some simple products that you can display on your website so that people can get more information, you know. And you can also consider the ability to connect with your customers via various social media, for example, like emails, your blogs, LinkedIn. Like in this forum, I'm sure we can also learn a lot from each of these panelists. Okay, so please do revisit your model. How resilient is your business? How can we survive these thriving times? And what the market needs? I think that is very important. A lot of people are just working in the business and not on the business. They do not see what the customer needs. And sometimes we provide things that are out of date and we still continue with the same thing, right? So that's where, you know, even though it's the same product, we need to innovate. Like just now, the textile company, I mean the suit production company, CK Chang, what they have done is to bring the business online, and they're selling at a very affordable prices. But of course, the delivery and all that is a problem because I heard that it's a bit long time to deliver and so on. So this is where, you know, you can continue to evolve and change your business. If you do not change, you will be chased out of the business, right? So this is important for us to keep abreast with market needs. What are the trends? What are the the market wants? What are the age group of our people consuming our products or services? So all these need to take into consideration when you doing your business. And like in Asia, sometimes we have this copycat mentality. We just see what other people have done and we just copy that thing to do our business. So it may last you for some time, but eventually things will be outdated, right? So that's where I think innovation need to come to play and see how we can engage other people to help us in this method. I would also like to share a story. During this lockdown, there was one old lady selling this Hakka Lui Cha somewhere in Ampang or so on. But because of lockdown, she can't even do her business at the hawker stall. So there was one young man who enjoyed the food of this old lady, offered to help her to bring the business online. And you'll be surprised, she has been cooking from home and her business is even better than before the lockdown. Can you imagine? So this is where we need to innovate and change the way we do business. And we call it the new norm now, right? I think later my other fellow panelists, Paul, can share a bit more on this. And how do we communicate with our clients? For example, like my service, I used to always have face-to-face meetings with my client and all that to see what are their needs and all that. So, but because of the lockdown, I go via Zoom, via Google Meet, and I use various channels to communicate with different people and see how I can service them. So the service level is still the same for me. In fact, I'm working out with some other accounting software providers that have got cloud facilities and they have a capability of putting documents online and we can go access there and without having to meet clients, you know. So we can also provide advisory to revamp their business model, help them to see what things that they do not see, the blind spots in the business, and they can grow from there, you see. And then we can also unlock new values and add value to all these potential businesses where they have never thought of that they would do, you know. And like just now I said, funding is another way that we help clients. We work with various parties. There are some fintech company out there who are very good. They can lend you money in a very fast manner, not like the bank. Sometimes it take months to approve the loan and so on. So they are very much a lot of fundings outside, like family offices. Sometimes they do not know where to invest in a good business and all that. So that's where we can help you, you know. And innovation, like I said, let's say your business is selling food, but rather than just selling it at hawker way, then you can bring it online to the online platform using Grab as a delivery, using other channels like Lala Move and various things. So these are the things where we need to innovate and change during these trying times. Okay. And I think when there's challenges, every challenges will give rise to opportunities. Let's look at it in a positive way during this lockdown period. You can't work in silo nowadays. You have to work with community. What are the services that can complement your businesses or your products? Do engage them and strive to go into the new market. So this is the new norm that we have been talking about. And just go back and evaluate where you are again and see how you can change or transform. Okay, that's all my presentation. You can get my contact later from the Secretariat. Thank you. Back to you, Roy.
Thank you, Pauline, for sharing with us your financial aspect of it. But it's quite interesting what you shared just now on two particular points I want to highlight and seek your clarification perhaps. Sure. One is what you said about copyright mentality being perhaps Malaysian company need to understand it may not be a very good long-term sustainable business model, but perhaps they should think of something. It's okay to see what is in the market and innovate on your own, and perhaps you can protect that as a possible business thinking process during this entire review of the entire business manner. And also you said that about this Hakka lady that you mentioned is in what business? Liu Cha, is it?
Aloy cha, you know, one of the dish for the Hakka people where they have a lot of vegetables and all that.
Very inspirational to know that fellow Malaysian did indeed help her to bring her business planning and modeling to another level. Okay, good. Without further ado, we move on to the next speaker, Mr. Nazri.
Yes, hi.
Okay, I think now we are eagerly expecting and looking forward to hear from you. There's only one qualifier. Could you put on your human intelligence and explain to us the financial management using AI? Over to you, Nazri.
Thank you, Roy. Thanks, Pauline and Chris, for the insightful sharing from a digital standpoint, as well as from a finance standpoint. So my role today is to combine the digital and the finance part together as part of an overall strategy of surviving and thriving. Okay, so supporting that surviving and thriving theme for today, we speak about restoring and rebuilding your business, okay, using AI. So there's a digital part, there's a finance part. So the idea is what will be the first steps that every organization needs to do before embarking on those concrete steps that Pauline and Chris have mentioned. And subsequently, Paul will score the whole goal by putting us together into one string of points that are conclusive and coherent. So you can see my screen, right, at the moment? You can see my screen, right, Roy? And everyone? Okay.
Yes. We can see your screen. Yes, we can.
Okay, great. So the problem statement that I need to define on behalf of all enterprises is that we are all hit hard financially. Regardless of whatever sectors you're in, there will sure be a ripple effect from one point to another point. And this is only just the beginning, right? So we don't not know, as what the panelist has mentioned, how this will lead to protraction or extension of the COVID lockdown and affecting various industries with the ripple effect. So this is the new world order that we're dealing with, and then businesses need help. Okay, that may be costly and difficult to get, but with technology and with the knowledge of finance being put across by technology, this can be expedited. So the idea is really what is the framework for rebuilding and reconstructing your business. We identified 9 key areas, okay? And for purposes of today's session, we will spend a bit more time on the ones bordered by the blue box, yeah? Business valuation, financial health check, and business modeling. Or in a sequential way, financial health check that leads to business remodeling, that leads to business valuation. Before you can pursue any form of strategy or restructuring or remodeling, right? You need to have a clear idea of where you stand, okay? And how you will fare in the next 6 to 8 months through scenario planning. So there's no way you can just look at things on a historical business as usual way. Impossible. You have to look forward. Now, how to look forward? With all the initiatives that are in front of you, how do you prioritize? Where do you look at? Where do you start? Okay, and how do you kickstart this process? Which one to come first? Is it marketing? Is it technology? Is it finance? Is it operations? Right? And HR. So there are many considerations that any business people have to make. Now, there's no one size fits all. So the question is, for you to have the right medication or the right prescription, you must have the right diagnosis, i.e. the right check. Because every business, every industry, every one of them have different circumstances and different stage of their life cycle. Now, using AI, we are able to basically extract financial statements and project into the future. So it could be as simple as your SSM summary profile of information, or it could be your annual report, or it could be news about your competitor, about your product, about the market, about the customer. So with the left and right, using AI, we are able to go through the 5 levels of analysis very quickly. You can describe what happened, diagnose why it happened, predict what can happen in the future, prescribe what are the action steps that needs to be done, and monitoring them. So from now to throughout your restructuring and remodeling stage, how is the progress being made? Where are the gaps and what needs to be done across the functions? So this technology has been around for 14 over years. It's not new. Okay, in the past, at the current stage, it has been widely used by government agencies, large corporations, PLCs, and big firms. But now we are making it available to small, medium enterprise as they tide through the notorious COVID-19 crisis. Now, we're going to go through a case study very quickly in terms of how an SME is being restored and rebuilded, right? And this case study, we took the most difficult sector, which is the one of the supply chain providers, value chain providers in the oil and gas sector. Okay, but before we continue the case study, I just want to put some caveat and disclaimer. Okay, for the purpose of this session of mine, it's less than 15 minutes. Not all info can be shared. So it's all summarized and it's all limited because of time. And second point is, it looks very simple when we present it in PowerPoint in this format, right? But restructuring does take time. So it takes between 6 to 10 months, especially to deal with ever-changing COVID dynamics and all the unpredictable regulatory measures that take place. Okay, so it's not snap finger, magic can happen overnight. Okay, it takes time, but done in a systematical and methodical way, it will be shortened. Okay, and these are high-level points given, and whatever you see here is backed by, lots of details, explanation, deliverables. So it's not something that is, simply executed, but it's backed by evidence, insights, research, and so on by technology. Okay, and last but not least, even though we cover more than 20 industry groups, 112,000 companies globally, we pick up one company and one sector is being shared for obvious reasons of time. We have to just bring out the essence given to you. So some of the points here is seen to be technical for non-financial people, but this is the simplest version that we can come up with for this time, for this point in time. So imagine this is a real company, 15-year-old company involved in engineering and construction works, especially in the mechanical and electrical services. It provides maintenance services to oil and gas. So they are directly involved in the O&G sector, both upstream and downstream. Okay, so this, as you know, get hit very, very badly. Airlines down, oil and gas consumption down, prices down. So it's all triple, quadruple whammy. Okay, so I'm sure you know all these key issues, but just want to highlight 3 key points. Oil and natural gas exploration, all-time low, plunged deeply down, and basically Sarawak, Sabah, Terengganu revenue come under pressure at the state level, okay, and annual state expenditure also be affected. So that naturally means that all the other private sector or business men involved in the sector, upstream, downstream, will certainly be heavily impacted. Now, what did the numbers tell us before the COVID crisis based on 2018 and 19? Again, these are excerpts. You can see that they grew very well, you know, close to 2 times revenue despite all the challenges at the time, the oil prices. Their profit shot up almost 2 times too, right? And then assets grew, liabilities also grew, liabilities short and long term also grew, right? And then their capital went up, but not as fast as the rest, but still went up by at least 60%, around 60%, yeah? So with this limited information, the question here is, what can you tell about these numbers? Okay, what can the machine extract just by a simple evaluation of these limited numbers that then extrapolates to a few 100,000 permutation? So the system picked up things like there are 3 key issues that they need to face. One is that very strong surge in operating costs compared to the industry. Basically, they grew faster than industry, and their costs also grew faster than industry, and their risk appetite also grew faster than industry. So this is a situation where a fast expanding company pre-COVID, okay, needs to do something before COVID hits really bad, okay, coming their way. So what could they do before the onslaught, before predicting any form of virus or pandemic or disaster coming their way, just based on these figures, okay, and these issues. So what the system detected is that you got to manage your operating costs. Right now, you're borrowing heavily to finance your operations, and you're scaling with limited shareholder funds. You're scaling with a lot of liabilities. So you're talking about a highly geared company doing mainly services, right? And incur a lot of fixed costs and growing faster than industry. And then if you to strip down the components, right? Looking from left to right, let's start with sales at the top left there, right? So sales grew almost 2 times, funded by assets that grew 100%, okay? And mainly driven by liabilities at 300%. So liabilities is being used to finance the assets, right? To support the high sales growth, right? And their high sales profit, okay? While incurring lots of costs, and then their margin is starting to slow down. Okay, so for people who've seen this company for the first time, instantly you know where are the danger zones. Okay, we talk about health check now, right? So you have the basis of comparing in this industry. You have a basis to compare it vertically within your financials. You get to see the dynamics laterally. What's happening between your asset, liability, equity, sales, and margins. Okay, sounds simple, like I said, but what are the top 5 recommendations that were meted out in 2018-19? So this is one of the 800 plus SMEs that we work with a DFI in Malaysia, across Peninsular Malaysia and Sabah Sarawak, right? That basically, goes through the restructuring program with a group of counselors and coaches which we certified. Okay, so there are 5 key things. Okay, very quickly, we know that operating costs has to be addressed, where 80% has to be now made into variable. Now, this is before the knowledge of COVID, right? And then it reduces the excess non-essential expenditure needs to be done before it impairs your P&L. And then debt capitalization is too high. They need to raise equity very quickly, right? Raise equity to pay off debts partially to an acceptable level, or recapitalize it. Either you raise fresh funds to balance up your yin and yang, right, so to speak, or you start paying, you converting into equity, right? And third part is you have to immediately negotiate for better deals. Make no mistake, this company Health Check in 2018-19 happens to be a green company. Green means rated good and above. Okay, we have black, emerald or green, amber and red. We call it BEAR. So emerald means you are in the above average, very good situation. Yet it reveals all these 5 things that needs to be done before the green becomes orange, orange becomes red. So there is an element of predictive and prescriptive measure, a forward-looking perspective on how businesses could instantly go for health check and then do something about it in the next 6 to 8 months. They're lucky because they are able to identify the issues early, and start taking on measures before the full onslaught of COVID and oil prices hit them real hard. So yes, they are affected, but not as badly affected as their peers that had to wind down. And many of the shippers, maritimes, offshore providers, oil and gas traders, all are either closing down or suffering badly in the midst of closing down. So these guys managed to survive, and now it's about how to thrive, right? In order to thrive, you need to survive first. So other than creditor payments, as I mentioned as a third point, you have to pivot your business model. This is a tricky part, because in business, we are always taught to think focus, right? Think vertical, go upstream, go downstream, buy your customer, buy your suppliers, integrate your customer, integrate your supplier, integrate your orders and all that. But in this current climate, we find that they have to go through horizontal to non-oil exposures that are less volatile. Okay, so right now, one of the key issues is that they have very, very volatile top line and bottom line. What goes up tremendously can go down tremendously even more. Okay, so companies that belong in this sector or volatile sectors inevitably, without doubt, have to move into horizontally into non-related businesses. So it could mean healthcare, they have to pivot into something else they never used to do before. Use their manufacturing or expertise to create more innovative technology. They have to get into healthcare, pharmaceutical, maybe logistics technology, all the different kind of tech. Okay, and for example, because this is where things become more digital, as what Chris mentioned, and people are now pivoting. Like Razer, right? The gaming start producing masks, for example, or ventilators. So people are shifting from one primary business model to another. There are many, many hundreds of examples. Okay, but what's clear is that you have to diversify across, for this company, non-volatile and non-oil sectors. At that time, even in 2019, okay, through their management accounts and all that. So now, then stage 5 will be to stabilize their balance sheet, because they still have some exposure to oil and gas. Okay, they need to manage their ALM better, asset liability management. The funding gaps, duration gap, their assets must be greater than the liability duration, and long-term assets are being used to long-term projects, or long-term financing is supporting short-term projects and things like that. So there has to be strategies around that. Okay. Now, what happens after restructuring is that after the recommendations are being made and continuously being made to address the top 3 issues, okay, then you can see that pre-restructuring and post-restructuring, the numbers start to become better. But it has to be done systematically, gradually, and methodically. It cannot be an overnight sensation, overnight transformation. When the keyword here is overnight. So like I said, within a period of 6 to 8 months, you can shift, okay, some of the pressures. It's like going, you're sick, you're unwell, you're going for your health check, right? You go for your MRI scan, you go for your blood sugar, right, test, then you start to detect where are the levels that you are exceeding beyond the norm based on your age, gender, race, and demographics and things like that, right? So at the end of the day, there has to be some form of matrix or measures or KPIs that you need to move from point A to point B. Now, many SMEs do not have this access, because many large companies do this, okay? But this is an example of an SME and 800 over cases like that, where even with limited information, we're able to create benchmark genograms, right? We are able to analyze their health and so on, okay? And here you can see post-restructuring, the ones shaded in gray will give you an indication of how the form and shape of your balance sheets and P&L will need to be changed. So businesses need to be guided systematically. Okay, you cannot just be guided in a blindsided way. Just adopt, implement, borrow. Borrow, want to borrow how much? Expand, want to expand how much, right? Pay down your liability or take on liability, how much would it be balanced? What would be the balance level that needs to be done? You have to secure profit and growth. Yes, you can grow 200% today, okay, but it's not sustainable. It's very volatile. So you'll be mistaken if you get people to be excited into your business, or business partners or bankers or investors, if you just show a 200% growth, but without showing a sustainable, consistent growth in the next 3 to 5 years beyond 2020. So the key takeaway that I want to say across all this is that there are many ways to interpret, diagnose, and depending on methodologies, experience, and background, right? An important point that I want to highlight is if you have a pain in your stomach, okay, but you get a medication for your food, right? So the wrong diagnosis will lead to the wrong prescription, and then it'll be a costly exercise and too much time. That's why some people are very dissatisfied with the kind of consultancy that they get, because you know, they are being told, the businesses are being told to tackle everything and everywhere, okay, one point over another, but not seeing in a holistic way. So I think the use of smart technologies minimize this risk. That's what the MNCs and the corporate and the public listed companies are doing. But the SMEs need some technology like this that is able to evaluate, diagnose, right, and map out your financial plan, okay, and then connect with advisors with a more intelligent disposition, right? It means you know when you approach your advisor, you already know where to look at, and you can validate what your advisors are telling you. Okay, and focus on the 80-20 rule. What are the 20% of the issues that cause 80% of the problem? So in this case, you can see that these 3 issues contribute 80% of the problem. Because if these 3 issues are taken care of, straight away, your shape and form of your balance sheet and P&L will start to change. So hence, I bring together the distinguished panelists, right, points about digital and finance. You bring this together, okay, then you humanize it. That means once the results are out, then you bring the humans, you interact with the humans, experts, right? And then they will guide you on what are the steps to execute. But the business people cannot just entirely leave it to the outsiders to decide their fate. They must have some form of understanding. Just like your health, you cannot expect your doctors to take care of your health. You are supposed to take care of your health, right? Know what's wrong with it, seek doctor for medication, and then continuously apply that medication and become healthy, right? And as a form of goodwill, okay, to everybody tuning in, we are giving the financial health check and the roadmap, okay, to the first 20 companies that basically sign up in this webinar. Now, this will result in a deep analysis, as what you seen earlier, of your financial score, financial health, as well as your key areas for changes, the 20% of your business that could lead to 80% improvement, okay? And this is only limited to the first 20 companies worth 150 US each. So if you scan the QR code or take or register in the bit.ly, we only, again, I repeat, offer to the first 20 companies. Beyond that, we'll have to discuss with the chamber to see how to have it available on a wider scale, obviously with cost. So I urge those who are ready, who owns businesses in any sector, you will get the financial health check, financial roadmap on how to survive and thrive, okay, as part of your financial strategy for 2020 and 2021. So with that, I will end my portion with the reminder that, you know, that there's definitely a new way of doing things in the new normal. You cannot stick to the old way of doing business. Anything in HR, in finance, in technology, even for us, we are technology AI company, but yet we have to, you know, remodel ourselves and restructure ourselves to tackle certain sectors that need us more than before, right? So with that, thank you very much for your time. Again, this goodwill free roadmap health check will be given only to the first 20 companies who registered with us through that link. Okay, and we look forward to helping you, you know, survive and thrive. Thank you very much. Over to you, Roy.
Nazri, for sharing beautiful insight, as well as the particular oil and gas company in Malaysia. Perhaps I just ask you a question. During this exercise, when you went through with them, right, what is the main challenges that you face, as well as the positive response from the company in implementing this AI-based roadmap?
I think it's a good question. Important point is the minute the company steps forward, right, to do the restoration or rebuilding, right, immediately their mindset is that they want to change. I think that's a good news, as opposed to convincing people to come forward. These are the businesses that got funding from a developmental bank, and in order to justify the use of their funds, they have to go through a program where they will come out with a roadmap and restructuring plan and how to grow, because the bank's interests are still at stake, right? And the businesses themselves need to make the capital grow. But making the capital grow comes with challenges, like you said, right? So first things first is the minute they are into this program, their mindset is reopened. So that's one big major obstacle that's overcome. Without an opening mindset to reborn yourself, rebirth yourself, right? I think that is a major thing. That's like 51% of the issue. You overcome that, you go for your health check, you map out a plan to become healthy. That's a good first step. That's a good 51% obstacle overcome. Now, that brings us to the other half, right? Okay, the other obstacle that they face is always three things, right? Market accessibility, okay, financing, right? As well as the need to differentiate themselves. That means the innovation part, these three. Okay, so I think Chris mentioned in a few innovative models that some of these traditional gold traders or players did, right? Fashion and all that. So everybody goes digital, right? The question is, for other sectors that are quote unquote less sexy, right? What do you digitize? What do you digitalize, right? So hence, those who are in the services side, you can use technology, right, to address the tricky problems. Do a fintech solution, use AI to determine the value of your business for fundraising. Okay, immediately put in your numbers, put in your business plan, or without business plan, the system can produce a business plan draft for you, then map out what are you really worth, right? Because you know the worth of your company, then you know how much stake to give. Let's say you're worth 1 million. Okay, 10% of it, you raise 100,000. You're worth 10% of it, you raise 1 million to dilute, right? So valuation is very important if you are going into JV, M&A, fundraising, and all that. Second point is human capital. You have a lot of HR data, you have a lot of employees or rather employee records for the past X number of months, right? Then you want to know the future employees that you're gonna get, okay? What kind of employees you wanna get, work from home kind of thing? What kind of attitude do they have? How do you measure the attitude? How do you measure the personality? How do you measure their resilience to handle this COVID? So how do you get answers to this? Technology. You have to profile them, interview them, analyze their disposition, their feedback, right? So make the machine analyze the personality, the pattern, and the consistency of what a person does. And such technology does exist. Okay. And the third one is basically market access. Yes, we can refer to open source platform, public platform, social media platform to push. But most SMEs, if not all, do not subscribe to AC Nielsen, Gartner. They don't have market intel of where are the trends in various parts of Malaysia or outside of Malaysia. They do not know what is the key trends, what are the emerging trends, what are the issues, what are the demographics that's coming out, where are the opportunities, because there's trillions of data out there, right? So how do you use AI to actually plow through 60,000 sites and then tell you what are 5 emerging trends, what are 5 types of customer, what are 5 types of products, what are 5 regions that are hot? So these are the things that, they once their mindset is open, the other 3 challenges become more solvable, as you basically adopt technology to, especially smart technology, to survive and thrive. Thanks, Roy.
Thanks, Nazri, for that illuminating observation and insight. Without further ado, we move on to our last speaker for the day, Mr. Paul, to share with us his corporate strategy post-COVID. Thank you.
Okay, I can put up a very brief slide on, so that we can be focused on what I want to show or discuss with you. Just give me a moment. Can you see the slides? Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, but we are waiting. Let's see.
Okay, I got to go to share content, right? Share contents.
Share contents. Yeah.
On my screen. Under Zoom, okay. Sorry. Under share content, I got to put to Zoom. I mean, I got to put to a screen, right? Is it correct?
Yes.
Microsoft. Everything on your screen.
Can you see the share screen?
Hold on. I have a shares content. Then I go to where?
There's a, I think, icon say share
Nazri,
screen.
just now, where do you put? Is it share screen?
Yes, under share, you got
under
to go
share.
To, yeah, just click the green share stuff.
Yes, I agree. Clean, and then is it screen?
You got to open the file first, Paul.
I have opened the file already.
Yeah, then you share screen.
Okay, let me try and see. I opened the file already. Now the next thing is screen. When I click screen, I go to Zoom or go to meeting. This is Zoom, right? Screen recording. No, I couldn't get it. Can somebody help?
At the Zoom, there's bottom have a green button with a share screen.
I have a shared content. Then the screen came out. Other screen, photo, iCloud, and so on. Is this screen?
No. You open then you're back to the Zoom.
I go to screen first or Zoom first? Now I'm a Zoom here.
Yeah. A bottom side got the share screen, the green color one.
Bottom side of the screen. Start broadcast. I don't see anything here. I see the Zoom. There's a tick on the Zoom.
Or maybe you WhatsApp me.
Huh?
You WhatsApp me, I will do for you.
Okay. No, it actually should be. It's already on the screen, you know. I'm sure that I too need to learn how to use it.
Okay, maybe while we are waiting for that technical issue to be resolved, we can perhaps try to address some of the Q&A questions posted by some of our participants. There is polling and fellow speakers, I know, on board.
Hello.
Yes.
Yes, we are.
Okay. While waiting for that issue to be resolved, can we just attend to one question posted by one of the participants? It goes to say that how does a furniture exporter goes about digitalization to survive or thrive? Maybe Chris, you want to handle this question?
I think nowadays a lot of furniture companies, they already go online. They put a picture of their furniture, they put in Facebook, they also put in Lazada, Shopee as well. So I think some of the the initiative that some association can do for those furniture association, like they need to brief their member how they're going to go online, give this kind of talk to them. So because a lot of them like, how am I going to attract foreign customer to visit my website? And maybe they build their own website, maybe they leverage on other platform. So this can be go online, no problem, furniture. So it's not be a problem.
If I may add, maybe this furniture company can look at what is their unique selling point compared to the other products out there. And then we can see how to bring them online. So it can be a B2B or B2C kind of platform to go online. So not necessarily we must sell via, Lazada, Shopee, and so on. So I think really need to study each case before we embark on the right e-commerce platform. Thank you.
From our perspective is that furniture exporter, because you're exporting to certain target markets, right? So you need to know the competitive environment, you need to know which markets are booming, which segments of the markets are booming, and then the type of pricing, the type of features that other competitors are doing. So it's more like market insights, country insights when you want to export. and then the kind of regulatory, the kind of taxes, the kind of cost and pricing environment in that particular market that requires to perhaps rebranding some of your marketing materials. So there is an internal way of looking at digitizing, and there's also the external, i.e. the market sensing, that technology can be used as part of your weapon, like a GPS, to decide which markets to focus, who are the competitors, who are the markets, what's the ROI, what's the pricing, okay, and how are the costs relating to taxes are involved. So this is also an external focus method of digitizing. Thank you.
Are you ready?
Yes, I think I should be. You go on. Okay, can you see me? Can you see the slides?
Yes, we can see the slide.
Okay, great. This is what it is. Technology, we're learning every day, we're learning something new and forget what we learned before. I have to refresh. I've done this before, but somehow I couldn't get the right button to move on. Anyway, thank you very much for the invitation. Just a little bit of background of what we are doing. Actually, I'm also running a consulting company, but I used to be running a accounting practice as well, but now more focused on the corporate sector. And my involvement with this MACD, you call it MACD to remember better, it's Malaysian Alliance of Corporate Directors. What they're doing is actually raising up the business people, the entrepreneurs, the directors of company to come up to speed with the global development of where we are heading, right? So this is part of what we do. So what I'm going to talk to you about today is on supposedly with the next normal. We are talking so much about the new normal. We are all in the new normal today and we are all locked down. That's what the new normal is. But the next normal is what we're going to do about this, right? Now today, if you look at this cartoon picture, it said that in this time of shared sacrifice, we must all wear our masks. And that's what's happening to all of us ordinary people, that we are hunkered down to where we are. And we are finding that there's so much pressure onto us, especially those of us who are entrepreneurs, who are running business. Now, in today's environment in Malaysia, even in Malaysia alone, I would say almost 20% of the people who are unemployed today are related to people who are doing business, entrepreneurs, all right? So there's a huge number of people who are unemployed today because of this coronavirus. And yet you see the government is trying to sustain the company and sustain all this company. And they're literally getting the money from taxpayers, because at the end of the day, the taxpayers are going to use the money to bail out, right? Now, what I'm going to talk to you about is really just now talk about the assessing ourselves. You talk about health, and even before you go for, let's say, a gym to go for the health program, you normally assess yourself where you stand physically. Now, in today's market, I can tell you that most of us, when you look at a balance sheet or financial statement of your company, you think that is what you need to know, all right? Because that is an official audited account which you need to file with the government, right? So you think that is what you need to know. But in today's environment, if you assess your own business, all right, besides the normal transactions of daily revenue, daily cash flow, and all those things, all right, what is the value of your company? Now, this is where this market will change tremendously. In 1975, 45 years ago, you find that most of the company's value are actually captured in the balance sheet. 83% of those value are in the financial statement. In today's environment, only 16% of value that you capture in your financial statement are tangibles. The rest are intangibles. Now, what do you mean by intangibles? Things that the accountants do not put into their balance sheet because they cannot capture that value because there's no transaction, and yet there's so much value in the company. Now, don't think that the small company or SMEs are, it is not applicable to them. In fact, it is applicable to them even so much more than the bigger companies. Now, what do I mean by those intangibles? For example, if you are doing investment a lot in human capital, those human capital are assets, but in your financial statement, it is expense. You're doing a lot of research and development, R&D. Similarly, those are the value of the assets, all right? Now, where I'm coming from is this. Just now, Pauline was talking about we do more of a review, what other people do, and we just duplicate, right? So we have to change our mindset today. R&D does not stand for review and duplicate. It stands for research and development, meaning that we have to come up with ingenuity, ideas, and bring up the value of what we have done as a business age, right? In Malaysia alone, if you look at the top 100 companies today, although you may say SMEs are not top 100 companies, but what I'm trying to relate to you is that we are just, may not be in terms of size, in fact, sometimes even in terms of size, but may not generally be in terms of size. There are a lot of value in the company that you are already running that you may not even know, right? You will only know it when you want to try to sell your company, and that's another issue that we can talk about. So in Malaysia, the top 100 companies, you notice, well, unfortunately, this I don't know why the percentages doesn't appear here. Let me read to you the percentages that I have. It doesn't appear in the iPad. On my laptop, I have it here. So what I'm trying to show you on the left side of the diagram is that in the top 100 companies in Malaysia, 71% of the value of companies are recorded as tangibles. In other words, you can know what is the net tangible assets, not per share. On the other red one is 29% are intangibles. In other words, what is the market perception of that value of the company? So what I'm talking about here is that you have to understand this. What are the intangibles that is not captured into your balance sheet? Then you can determine what's the value of your company. Now, on the right-hand side, construction is 22% intangible, and you find consumer is 45% intangible. And then you go down further, next slide, right? Especially technology company. If you're in technology company, the large part of the value of companies are intangibles, 85% of them, right? Telco companies, 74%, healthcare, 67%, industry product, 32%, plantation, 29%, even finance is 16%. So what I'm talking about is that when you assess your own company, look at the balance sheet first, and then you determine what other value that you can, that has not been captured as of great value. Now, those of you who are familiar with Grab, I'm sure all of you are familiar with Grab. Grab today is still not a public company, right? It's still not a public company. Today, they've captured such a huge market, and what their value today is, their value about 14 billion today, okay? And if you look at the market cap at the bottom of the graph here, the share capital is 370 million and the cumulative loss is 350 million, and yet they are worth 37.8 times the value that we capture in the financial statement. All right, moving forward, you look at the graph today, is the most successful, you may say the most successful unicorn. That, in fact, they're known as decacorn now. Unicorn are those companies that can raise capital of more than 1 billion, right? But they have raised more than 10 billion. So what I'm trying to relate to you is that don't think that SMEs are small. Don't think that SMEs are not capable of raising the value of the business. Already, this is demonstrated to us. And by the way, Grab is a Malaysian homegrown company, all right? So all the Malaysian companies in Malaysia today, if you're We there is a prospect for you to move forward, all right? Don't be cowed down by all the other we are always doing review and duplicate. We are not taking leadership. Actually, a lot of Malaysian companies are very successful. It's due to the resilience of the business people, okay? We are using Zoom right now, right? And Zoom, you look at it, with a total capital of 834 million, today they are worth 48.7 billion, which is bigger than the 7 largest airlines in the world today: Southwest, Delta, United, and so on and so forth. You know, and what is their value? How did the value come to the bottom? The 58 at the bottom box there, the 58.5 times. How did the value of Zoom can come up to such a big figure, whereas the capital value is, the paid-up is so small? So this is a very, very important element even for SMEs, all right, when you evaluate yourself, right? And here is another example of an insurance company, risk management company, and they've identified what are the intangibles, okay? You're talking about intellectual property, you're talking about B2B rights, you're talking about hard intangibles, you're talking about public rights, relationship, brand. So all these things are intangible to an extent that this gentleman, this CEO of Eon was saying that even they themselves are struggling with how to put a share, put an insurance premium to insure the company, because when you look at a company balance sheet, it is a certain figure, right? That is audited, verified, assured. But on the other hand, what they found is 75% of those value, the market cap of those companies are intangibles, and it's not reflected in the balance sheet. You know, from the accounting standpoint, all right, we call it this the IAS 38, International Accounting Standard 38. They already specify what kind of conditions that you must qualify to capitalize those intangibles, right? And that here there are six criteria, okay? That's what is so appropriately coined as pirates. So if this is not taken in, it's as much as you're talking about the value of the business that you have has been stolen by the pirate, all right? The probable future economic benefits, P. I is intention to complete, resources adequate and available, and you must be ability to use and sell, must be technically feasible, expenditure reliably measured. All these items are required to so to say, qualify for the accounting standard to accumulate those figures as value, as balance sheet item. But if you don't meet any of these criteria, we can discuss much more of that later on, you cannot put it in your balance sheet. So as a result of that, there's a study made by two professors in the university. One is from New York University, the other from Buffalo University. I happened to meet up with one of them in New York just 6 months ago. And what they're trying to relate to us is that now the end of accounting does not necessarily mean the end of accounting accountants. No, it simply means that accountants also need to transform to come up to speed with providing corporate reporting that is more than just financial reporting. So what they're saying is that if an investor wants to invest in your company, what do you look for? In fact, the study shows that investors look at the financial statements that's published less than 5% of the time. Most of the time, they go for unidentified sources. 72% are unidentified sources like media reports, industry insight, intelligence. And this is where, again, I think Nazri has a very, very strong and powerful tool when you do artificial intelligence or AI platform to analyze and predict where the company is going based on the industry that is existing out there. It's a very powerful tool. And all these things we're doing are not audited, not regulated. And this is what the investors are looking for, right? So here it says, why is it accounting information essential or critical as it is, and yet you find that it is quite inadequate? It's because of those standards that have been established for decades, like how do they value intangibles? How do they put the market perception of the value of the company into the reporting framework, which they don't, right? So here it says the accounting standard and all these things are still stuck in the industrial age, okay? And all these things happening is because the whole world has been disrupted. Don't talk about COVID-19. Now, in fact, COVID-19 enhances our sensitivity of why almost every business, if not all business, will need to adopt a digital platform. In fact, moving forward, the post-COVID, according to some report, 2 out of 5 jobs today will disappear after the COVID-19. In fact, right now it's already disappearing, right? And those who remain ought to reskill yourself, you got to upskill yourself, you got to move into the technology platform, and AI is one of the driving force. It's increasingly more critical for every company to move into the artificial intelligence area, right? You can see a lot of changes today, right? Besides all this that I put on the screen here, even Singapore today have this robot that can deliver make delivery for you anywhere around 3 miles radius. It's just like a R2D2, that kind of robot. They can do that. And of course, the other part of it is Amazon already using the drone technology to deliver products to you. Okay. So even before this COVID-19, all right, there's already a report last year that the study has made that 326 unicorns sorted into the various industry. Of course, the US is still leading all these unicorns, right? The biggest 7 out of 10 biggest unicorn are from the US. But you look at the bottom part of this part of the unicorn here, what are the business that companies are already in that create an environment whereby the market is recognizing that value? all right, in software, internet service, in e-commerce, in fintech, healthcare, on-demand services, hardware, data analytics, social, auto tech, media, travel tech, cybersecurity, and all others at the bottom there. Another very small segment is on-demand type of services, which include Uber and Grab. So we are already in this frontier now. When we talk about technology before COVID-19, everybody intellectually, they know that the company ought to go into that. But that's something internalized within them. So in a way, COVID-19 is a very good driving force for us to transform. If we don't take this as an opportunity to transform, we will be like very far behind. And of course, nobody can know everything, right? Nobody can do everything. That's why we are moving into what they call a shared economy, where each one of us with our skill set, we collaborate with other people. In fact, I tell you, we are actually collaborating with the AI from Nazri and also the financial part with Ling. And each one of us do our expert, whatever that we are good at, and then we have to collaborate to get the best out for our client, okay? So this is the 2019 landscape for unicorn. You look at the bottom there, all right? Out of all the big unicorns, the top unicorns, you have Grab here, 14 billion. That's what Grab is worth, okay? How do we capture all this information to make sense out of it? Now, if you look at just audit report, financial report, it is very basic, all right, very simple. But you know that the value of the company moving forward is not just financial report. There it comes along the line, 10 years, this idea was proposed, we call it integrated report. What integrated report does is that you have, as a business owner, it doesn't matter you're SME, all right? You need financial capital. And we analyzed 6 different types of capitals that is of value, of great value to the company. But it's only because we don't define it, or otherwise we are defined by the accounting standard alone, then you miss out tremendously the value of the capital that you have. So we talk about financial capital. We talk about financial capital, we understand. We talk about manufacturing capital, you know, your plant and machinery, your equipment, your robotics, and all those things, right? Is part of capital, which can be also quantified in a way. Intellectual capital. We have been joking about Malaysia, very good in R&D, means to be review and duplicate, all right? Gone are the days that we always be followers. We have to work out ourselves to be leaders, right? Intellectual capital, we need to invest in it, all right? And this ought to be recognized. Human capital, nobody will dispute why we should invest in human capital, but where do we capture it? We capture it as an expense. It erodes your bottom line. It doesn't look good for your balance sheet, right? The natural capital, whether you're operating in a plantation or operating in oil and gas or operating in a bottling business or operating in this mining business, all this is natural capital that you have. Can we identify what's the value of it? Social and relationship capital is also very important. In today's environment, especially when everybody is hunkered down, our customer need us to liaise with them. Our customer need us to assure them that we continue to supply them, we continue to meet our obligation, right? The whole value chain along the line where we get our product and services require each other to communicate with each other. That's a social capital. So through the process, your business at the middle part of the diagram is where you put in your management, your governance, and all this in your internal processes to come up with what value can you add to those capital that put into place. Now, this is where we're talking about integrated reporting. It's not a reporting framework by itself, but your integrated value creation thinking based on the capital that's entrusted to you. That is where you may say it's a whole new way of thinking, but actually this has been existing for the last 10 years. And more than 4,000 companies around the world have adopted this, and it is going in that direction. All right. And at the same time, you're talking about United Nations is pushing towards that we must do business more than just making money. You have to look at the environment, they call it sustainable development goal. This can also be captured into the reporting framework. So finally, just overall for all of us, at the end of the day, it's to come back to our own leadership and personal resilience. Just now somebody talking about resilience. At the moment, the new normal, as we call it, is already moving into what a lot of people are planning for, the next normal. What are we going to do? Because of the uncertainty, nobody knows when this virus is going to go away. How long it will take, we don't know. How fast we can do the business, we don't know. So it depends very much on our leadership and personal resilience, all right? To build, first of all, the critical area that we must look at. Number one is building resilient revenues. Revenue is the one that feeds us, that keep us going, the cash flow and all the things that keep us going, all right? Building a resilient organizations. All the people down the line of our company ought to be knowing what we are doing. If the leadership does not express optimism, all right, but everything is so pessimistic as we see today, the whole organization will be reduced to hibernation, so to say, all right? But again, if we do not have an organization that's resilient as some kind of a corporate culture, this is where the leadership ought to instill a corporate culture through right down the line, right? Building a resilient operations. All these operations you're talking about, that they ought to be very, very much integrated in a way, you know, relying on each other. It's not so much of a silo approach that we so used to, right? I still remember when I was in the practice and I was talking to some of my clients, you know, when you talk about integrating them, they're very protective. The salespeople said this, whatever the sales say, it goes because they are the one to make money. The accounts fellow says, you know, if you don't control all this, you know, you can sell a lot of things, you cannot collect money, also it won't work, you know, a detriment to the company. So building a resilient operation means all this operational, functional department or division ought to work together in a very, very cohesive way, all right? And we can cut down a lot of top-down process of decision making. And finally, building a resilient finance. No doubt today, everybody is struggling. Everybody is, especially if your financial position is not strong, you'll be very, very vulnerable. So we have to build up the whole thing as one. We need to have a leadership and personal resilience of whoever is taking leadership, the entrepreneurs, the board of directors, which I'm emphasizing very much on. So these are the things that we are talking about moving into the next normal. In fact, some people are already talking about next normal is not good enough. You must prepare ourselves to anticipate the never normal, meaning that we actually can expect things to happen again and again. It may be coronavirus. It could be also some other crisis that we may not know. It could be environmental crisis. It could be the natural crisis. You know, there's so many things. So we have to develop within ourselves that kind of personal resilience. I always look at it this way. Human beings are very creative people, right? We are created to be creative, right? And we are very resilient if we are not hammered down to fear. So all this fear can be translated into something positive. So if you have an optimistic outlook, a lot of things can be done, all right? It may be done totally different way that we are used before. So with this, I leave it to you on how to move forward with more optimism to the next normal. Eugene, back to you. Roy, it's back to you.
Paul, and thank you for the question and all this insight sharing by all the four speakers. Once again, thank everybody for the time spent to share with us today. Unfortunately, due to a lack of time, we will not be able to, we will have to close the session shortly, but take the opportunity once again to thank all the speakers for the wonderful presentation and comments. This talk is organized by the BM and English Entrepreneur Committee of the Malaysian China Chambers of Commerce. This is one of the 14 working committee of MCCC, and we welcome everybody to join MCCC, where all Malaysians can network, pool their resources and ideas together for the common good and for your own company's growth. You can download our membership form by scanning or clicking the link shown on the Zoom screen now, or Facebook QR code, or visit our website at mccc.my. And please take note also our next webinar series 13, featuring our MCCC chairman, Dr. Tan Yu Sing, as a moderator on the 13th of May at 10:30 a.m. And once again, thanks all the speakers for taking the time off and have a good day. So it's the new mindset. and we are looking at renewed focus for the coming months for all of us. Terima kasih, thank you. Share, mkoisai. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.